Hey everyone, Kevin here. So a lot of you know that I'm a real estate investor and real estate broker, and obviously the Rona pandemic is going on, and I thought this would just be a fair opportunity to just come clean and just put it all out on the table. And so what I'm going to do in this video is not only am I going to talk about what's really going on with my rental properties and the money that I make from my investments and stocks, and I'll show you my portfolio and my stock account. We'll just put it all out there, you know. I can't hold anything back. I'm the kind of person that actually encourages, you know, being critical. I want, look, if you're going to watch a YouTube video and learn from somebody, it's sometimes hard to not be critical. And I respect that. I think that's human nature, is for us to wonder, like, I don't know, do I believe this person? Do I trust them? Is what they're saying real? And I think the only way to really do that is to be more transparent. And so I don't blame anybody for being critical, but I think the easiest thing to do is just show you. So I think what I want to start with, and I'm going to try to just one take this, so that way it's as natural as possible, and just get my real feelings about all of this, is to show you my actual business, right? Which is being a real estate broker. And what you could do is you could go to Yelp and you could see, I've got 41 reviews here, me, Kevin, the No Pressure Real Estate Agent. And you could actually look up my license. You could look up my trademarks, like me, Kevin, No Pressure Agent, providing more. And you could see when I registered these trademarks. No Pressure Agent, I've had trademark for almost 10 years now. I think we're on 9 years. But anyway, you could also go through some of the reviews, and I encourage you to look at some of the older ones. There are reviews in here from 2018, 2019, 2017, high level of customer service, trustworthy, whatever. These are all little things that you could look at and you can get an idea as to the things that I do. Like, here's somebody. The condo was in need of upgrades and repairs. New carpet, flooring, new appliances, painting. There was a lot. Kevin handled all of the services, upgrades, install appointments, everything. He even chose the colors. These are literally the things that I talk to you about on my channel. Like, my history over the last 10 years of the psychology of money and building wealth in real estate and stocks is literally what I started doing with all of my clients. When I bought my first house in 2011 and I saw how much money I was able to make by buying a place that had no kitchen and that was stinky and was a foreclosure, and I literally took my clients through that house. I'd essentially take their hand and come, you're coming to my house, and I'd walk them through my first house to show them what I had done and show them the actual value I was creating. It's the same thing I try to do on YouTube. Obviously, it makes sense that you might be more critical on YouTube because you're not meeting me in person. And look, I get that. It's like, when am I actually going to meet Kevin? He's just some dude on YouTube. I get that. Here's one from 2015, right? Thoroughly impressed, professional meeting, handled everything, carpet, paint, fixed things to get it market ready, whatever. What I also encourage you to do is not just look at these 41 reviews or kind of when they were, but at the bottom on Yelp, they've got this 71 reviews that are not recommended. You can click on that. And you could actually go through and kind of randomly look through all of these sort of other reviews and kind of when they came in. And let's go to page 5 so you could look at some of the older ones. Here's from 2015. We had multiple offers in just 3 days. Kevin goes above and beyond. Complex escrow situation, handling multiple personalities. That's something that I learned by going through the meat grinder. When I talk about the psychology of dealing with people and working with people, we've now used Kevin for a second transaction. I learned a lot of these things not only by reading psychology and logic and studying these things, but also by working with people who had wealth and built money. And go through this, and then you'll have a little bit of a background idea as to what I'm like. But let's now spend a little bit of time and just go through my net worth over time. So what I did is I created a little spreadsheet, and the easiest way to do this is just look at how much money I had at every single age. So here we go. Here's when I was 17 years old. I had no net worth. I made about $3,000 working at Hollister over the summer. And I kind of may have spent all my money. So I wrote little notes here on the side as well. I'll just give you kind of a quick glimpse at some of these notes here. Hollister income, I didn't work much. I generally skipped school to play World of Warcraft, Counter-Strike, Splinter Cell, and Halo. I took honors and AP classes. Yeah, this is true. Here, you know what? Just to make this a little easier to read, let's just split over to just the screen here. There we go. And we'll put me up here in this corner. There I go. Okay, cool. So I just want you to feel like this is as raw as possible because this is true. I had a 3.2 GPA, but I only had a 3.2 GPA in high school because I was taking honors classes, and you get like a C in an honors or AP class. It's kind of like getting an A in an normal class. But yeah, I had no assets, and I had met Lauren in 2008. And in Paris. And in 2009, I left my family in Florida and moved in with Lauren and her parents in California. So in the summer of 2009, I moved to California. And at 18, I made $8,079 working part-time at Jamba Juice. And then, you know how I usually talk about on my channel, like get a license, like figure out how you can increase your earnings potential. And so that's what I did. While I was going to high school, had like 4-hour high school days doing college prep classes. I was done with the honors and AP. I'm like, screw that crap. And so I graduated high school with straight A's, but I was taking easier classes, college prep classes. But I had so much free time. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm growing tomatoes and peppers and trying to use neem oil to make sure the darn aphids go away. It was actually kind of fun. It was very peaceful. People would call me, Kevin, you want to cover a shift and work double time? I'm like, no. I got a garden to tend to. Tell you, those years were some of my least stressful years, but that was probably the happiest year of my life, 2010, when I was just not doing anything. I was literally just doing what I wanted to do. Wasn't grinding or working at all. But anyway, I ended up getting my real estate license. That's kind of when the grind started again. So my first year of real estate, it took me like 11 months to actually sell a deal, and that was when I was 19 years old. And I made more money in one transaction than I made all year working at that time. I switched to working at Red Robin. I worked there for about 8 months, kind of overlapped. But I went from host to busboy and expo, and I put extra money that I had in stocks, and I started out doing property management for clients. That's where I started seeing, oh wow, yeah, people need help because people have no freaking idea how to renovate real estate. I'm like, I know what tenants want. I know what buyers want. Let me help you. And even though I was new, I already, with 1 year of experience, knew like, no, you don't need to put in really expensive tile to get this thing rented out. Let me show you a better alternative. And people are like, oh my gosh, this guy just saved me thousands of dollars. Like, thank you, Kevin. And when I noticed that, I'm like, damn, I guess there's a need for this stuff because I didn't think I was doing anything that incredibly special, but there is a need because there isn't a consensus or an easy way to renovate real estate. In fact, most of the time you watch HGTV and you just walk away wanting to spend more money. And so I feel like I'm that person telling you don't spend more money. But anyway, you could look at some of my videos, my older YouTube videos on YouTube, or even my older pictures on Yelp, and you'll see I had my face on my Prius that I bought in 2011. Ended up getting a trailer for that. Driving a Prius and a trailer around is pretty ridiculous. But anyway, also I would distribute pumpkins to clients, knock on doors, I'd take for sale by owners, anything I needed to do to get ahead and build clientele, while at the same time I'd read Aristotle and Plato, and I enjoyed reading that kind of stuff and learning about the psychology of negotiating. These are all things that I teach you now in the context of the psychology of building money and wealth in my programs down below. But yeah, I do the same thing on the channel. Everything's consistent with what I show you. Anyway, in 2000, I only did one transaction that year. In 2012, I ended up making $47,828. You can see way more than I could have made working hourly. Like even if I ended up getting promoted as a server, I would have made like 20 or 30 grand. But this 47K because I was now selling real estate. And my net worth actually ballooned this year because in 2012, I bought my first house. I bought my first house severely under market value for $305,000. At the same time, I got accepted into Berkeley, UCLA, and Santa Barbara. I ended up commuting to UCLA. Even though I really wanted to go to Berkeley, I decided to commute to UCLA because I wanted to keep doing my real estate business. I thought I was doing well to make, $47,000 as a taxable income at 20 years old. For me, this was awesome. And so I saved every single penny I could. We bought this house for $305,000, and we ended up, here, I'll show this just on big screen. Let me get rid of me for a second. We ended up, buying the place for $305,000. We refinanced it after 12 months to remove mortgage insurance. And then after that, I ended up getting a home equity line of credit, and I got an appraisal in place for $505,000. This is the kind of stuff I teach you, is how to identify and buy this stuff below market value. And so using that $80,000 of home equity line of credit, I ended up starting to shop for my first rental property. So considering that home equity line of credit, I had about $440,000 worth of debt, $550,000 of value, and that sounds like a lot. When we hear that, oh my gosh, that's a lot of debt, it really wasn't, because if I walked away from that property and rented it out, I would cash flow more than what my payments were on it, and then I would just use that cash flow to fix up the property or for repairs or, a new roof over time or vacancy or property management, which I was doing myself. But, whatever, like it doesn't really matter if you're bringing in more on a 30-year fixed rate loan, it's okay. And, and I always recommend having a safe level of debt. And so you'll see that later when I show you the exact kind of levels of debt and where I keep things. But anyway, here you go, $80,000 home equity line of credit, which I used to buy our first rental property, I bought in 2013. And in 2013, you can see the net worth explodes here. Let's just look at the net worth again. Let me get rid of me for a second here. Look at the net worth explosion here. You go from a net worth of nothing. Notice none of this is like my parents giving me money here. This is me doing this. At 18, I had a net worth of $3,000. My net worth was $9,000. You can see it goes very slowly when you're expecting your income to do it. But all of a sudden, because I bought an under market value deal that gave me over $100,000 in net worth, my net worth instantly exploded to $189,000. Now, I could have sold that property and I would have paid some selling costs. I'm an agent myself, but even if I weren't an agent myself, I would have still walked away with somewhere around $150,000. That's way more money than I would have had, being a server at Red Robin. And it's like, wow, there's a real benefit to not just buying a stupid house at the corner of the street that has a negative cash flow and is really overly priced and it's new construction or whatever, and then betting and speculating that it'll go up. I don't do that. I buy real estate knowing I'm buying it cheaper than what I could sell it for as soon as I fix it up, which means 30 days later, I know I could sell the thing for more. That's what I encourage you to do. It was easy for me. And because it was easy, because I was doing it for clients, I bought another rental property. I bought this one substantially under market value. The property value of my first deal, because I paid off principal that year, because I wasn't renting, because there was some appreciation on top of, having bought it under market value, and because I bought another fixer-upper, which, keep in mind, we had no money. I mean, our tax return income combined was $161,000 that year. So I was starting to do some more sales, which was good. But still, we plowed every penny we had into our investments. And so I'll just remove me again for a second here so you can see my text that I wrote here. There we go. I gotta probably spend more time writing this out, but this was just quickly slapped together from memory here. And so here you can see I did minor renovating myself. Lauren and I, remember, we'd scrub the linoleum ourselves. My first house, by the way, I did almost everything. You can see I said that right here. From the kitchen, the IKEA kitchen, to drywall work, to electrical work, to crown molding, to framing, load-bearing walls, to some plumbing. I hired help for some things, but I remember doing the insulation myself, dealing with the asbestos myself, all of these things, learning it myself. And I'll tell you, there was nothing better in sort of my education than learning to do some of these things myself. And so that year was great. I mean, in 2013, we got married. I ended up having 35 clients, renovated 22 properties. These are all doing renovations. I mean, so in a year, not only did I do my own renovation, but I'm doing 35 renovations for clients. That starts making you really good at renovating. You start knowing how to prevent mistakes and how to build wealth renovating a real estate. And that becomes very, very important, certainly in my opinion. I mean, I think that, hey, you know what? If I teach you and I tell you on this channel, I recommend you renovate this way. No, it's not just some bozo on the internet going, oh, well, this book says that's a good idea. No, this is me actually doing it in rental properties, doing it with clients who are selling their houses, doing it on flips for clients, doing it in my own flips, and realizing, okay, buyers like this, they don't like this. And the more knowledge you have, the more and more quickly you can build your net worth, because then I could take that knowledge and apply it to more people, and they tell their friends about, wow, this guy really knows what he's doing. Look, he was able to make me this much money and whatever. And remember, that year my net worth was estimated to be about $469. And then when I was 22 years old, my net worth went up to about $789,000 because that year I made taxable income of about $295,000. That gets taxed really heavily in California. I represented over 50 clients that year, over 35 renovations that year, many rentals, buyers, sellers, a lot of sellers. Most of my clients were sellers and people who wanted to fix up, to flip or sell. Bought a second rental, used a rental property line of credit, again, bought substantially below market value. I think that was a short sale. And anytime I had extra money, I would pay off my credit lines. So that way I would have that money available again. And the cool thing is, within this year, I now owned over $1.5 million worth of real estate, which, I mean, just think about it. And look, average long run appreciation for real estate is maybe like 4%, right? So the market goes up and down. But this year, the market appreciated about 10% by the end of the year. So think about it. That's like my net worth going up $150,000 tax-free, doing nothing. Now, sure, can the market go down? Totally. But I'm not gonna sell if the market goes down. Why would I? I plan to keep these properties for 30 plus years. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a duplex, a fourplex, a 10plex, as long as I can rent the properties out, even if I have to reduce the rent a little bit because of Rona, big deal. Then you reduce the rent a little bit. The value of these properties goes up in the long run, and controlling assets and wealth is what really helped me create wealth way before YouTube, but also in conjunction with my income. So yeah, look, am I suggesting, hey, go out there and make $295,000 in taxable income in a year to see your net worth go from, what was it here, $469,000 to $789,000? No, like, you don't have to do that. You can do this working, making $50,000 a year, $80,000 a year, $100,000 a year. It's just gonna take more time. And that's it. And that's just the reality of it. Yeah, I was able to compress how much real estate value I was able to buy because I used the principles that I teach you on how to manage property, renovate property, how to invest in property. I took that knowledge and I taught people. By doing that in person, which is what created my Yelp portfolio, I was able to make more money. And then because I believe in everything I teach so heavily, all I did was take that money and plow it right back into buying more real estate. So I literally do and invest in exactly what I tell you on this channel. This isn't, me trying to suggest, hey, y'all, buy this, rank 300 cryptocurrency that some dude pulled out of his butt and created, and it pays a dividend just like the SEC warns in the form of a Ponzi scheme. Hey, you know what? Some people are gonna hit the lottery doing that stuff. Some people are gonna get rich quick, and a lot of people are gonna lose their pants doing that kind of stuff. I don't invest in anything that risks me losing a lot of money. I would rather get rich slowly, but get rich for sure. And that's what I teach you here. So let's keep going with this spreadsheet here and just be, again, this is just trying to be as transparent as possible. And look, I know I'm gonna get critics anyway that are gonna come and go, oh, well, you could have done this differently, or oh, look at this, you got so much debt on this, or whatever. Whatever. You know what? At least for those of you who actually watch this entire video, you could see what's in my brain and what I actually deal with and like what my background is. Most of my background is dealing with apartment buildings and dealing with tenants and dealing with properties on a daily basis, renovating them to sell them and to rent them for more value. That's not just my own deals. Look at this. In 2015, let me switch it again so the picture-in-picture is reversed here. Hold on, let's go to make the spreadsheet the big one, and then we'll make me the small one. There we go. In 2013, I represented over 60 clients, and I wrote here, this was my most stressful year ever. Renovated over 40 properties for flippers, landlords, and the occasional buyer. I didn't really like working for buyers because buyers like to overspend. Even though I tell them not to, they're like, oh, Kevin, I really want to do this. I'm like, why? You're wasting your money. I'm like, no, Kevin, I really want to do it. Okay, it's on you. So anyway, then I bought a new house. I'll drink my coffee in a little bit. So I bought a new house. I used an 80-10-10 loan, which means I got no mortgage insurance, but put 10% down. That year, my income was $381,000. It was the most stressful year of my life. That was really nasty. Rented out my first home. I kept my credit lines, and I used my income to pay off my my credit lines. That was always the thing. Like, people are like, Kevin, where do you put your money while you're saving in the meantime? I put it in my credit lines. Like, the extra money that comes in, I just pay off my credit lines. And when I pay off my credit lines are available again, so that if a good deal comes up in real estate, I can go buy another good deal in real estate. I wasn't like bestowed with a magical wand of, here, Kevin, you're born with $2 million to get started, or here's $10 million to get started. I had to work for every freaking penny I have. Now, so 2015, I represented over 60 clients. Okay, we said that. All right, so many of my client renovations netted my clients $40,000 to $80,000 in flip renovation profits. And a lot of people would have left a lot of money on the table had they not hired me, because I would go into fixer-uppers and go, give me 4 weeks, let me fix up your place. And all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, we thought we were gonna sell this place for $450,000. Kevin just sold it for $550,000, and all we had to do was spend $30,000 and let Kevin run with it. Dude, like, how could people not leave a 5-star review? How could people not tell their friends, like, call Kevin, right? And so this is exactly the stuff I teach in my courses. I can't do as many renovations now because I'm just inundated with people who want this knowledge and this information. So every day I try to add lectures and content to my programs. I go live 5 days a week to help educate you all in all of this background that I have. Yeah, look, I used to do 50 renovations a year. Every single day I'm doing renovations. That's a lot of work. Okay, so that year I ended up breaking $1 million in net worth well before YouTube in 2015. We had our first child. Let's see, then in 2016, I actually took the foot off the gas and I ended up investing money into a new company. And I didn't do as many deals. I represented about 48 clients, and I invested a lot of money into trying to expand my business, and I thought I would create a contracting company. So that way I could have my own crew doing renovations, because I was doing so many renovations. But you could see that year my net worth actually went from 1.2 million to about 1.7, almost 1.8 million. And I mean, just a quick breakdown as to how that might look. If you zoom in over here, you'll see that, here, let's just go full screen. I'll get rid of me for a second here. I think I pushed that button. Okay, yeah, here we go. So you can see this pushed my real estate portfolio over $3 million for my real estate portfolio. Oh yeah, I bought a short sale that year. Real estate appreciation, the principal pay down, the $150,000 on the wedge deal that I bought, additional income that helped me boost my net worth substantially in 2016. I did not have to use real estate credit lines due to real estate income. I did not refinance any of my prior rentals. That's something that I actually teach a lot in my program, is that I'm not the biggest fan of constantly refinancing, because the more you refinance, the more at risk you are. Like, I'd rather see you have some of your properties paid off in a balance. A balance is very important to make sure that you don't get burned in the event like a Rona comes. You gotta be careful. You can't have too much debt. You can't have $5 million of real estate and like 90% debt. That's bad, that's dangerous, that's risky, right? So here at so anyway, I invested a lot of money into this construction company. At 25 in 2017, I actually started my contracting company. My income went down to about $110,000. And you have to realize this is taxable income. So when I say my income went down, my income a lot of these years actually went up, but I spent more of the money on the construction company. So I think in 2016, for example, I made like $400,000, but I wrote off somewhere around $250,000 in expenses in creating a company. Like, you buy a Sprinter van, you get your contractor license. I put a lot of money into trying to hire employees and grow the business. And this also helped me learn a lot about the psychology of money and renovating, and how to deal with crews and how to deal with people, and the psychology of being a nice boss versus being a mean boss versus being too nice of a boss versus being too little of a, like, not mean enough of a boss, right? Like, the amount of experience that I have in actually having 15 to 16 employees and going through the cycles of starting companies and opening it's insane. And that's what I try to teach you here. And I mean, look at this. This video is already it's already over 20 minutes long. And, you know, we're I mean, there's so much that I already told you. We could go so much deeper in all of these things. I could talk to you about for hours about the stuff that I do and the knowledge. And that's why I have those programs, to try to simplify it all for you. Again, use that coupon code, link down below. But anyway, 2017, you can see my net worth went up substantially again. Again, part of this is because of income. Well, I'm obviously able to now also use cash to invest if I have more write-offs. I did buy another fixer. So another fixer led to another $150,000. I started a 3D Matterport scanning business. I hired licensed agents. Let's see, wedge deal over here. Principal pay down on properties, controlled about $3.5 million worth of real estate. I actually started making YouTube videos more regularly at the end of 2017. But at this point, I had 6 properties worth over $3.5 million worth of real estate. every single year you're writing off depreciation on these properties, so you're getting tax benefits by owning them, the principal pay down, the value of them going up. All right, and so you could see, and then obviously there's income as well, and buying a property below market value. So yeah, appreciation, principal pay down has a play, but buying a deal below market value helps as well. So that way, even if appreciation's flat, my net worth with flat appreciation would have still gone up somewhere around, what, $200,000-$300,000 just from the income, principal pay down, and the tax write-offs, and getting a wedge deal. So yeah, some of this is appreciation. I get that fluctuates, but a lot of it is from actually doing good deals. Here's 26. I actually made zero money that year. I took so many tax write-offs, and because I have not filed my 2019 tax return yet, I actually got the stimulus check. And that's why you see a fundraiser on the side of my channel, because it shows you that first of all, I donated the first $2,500 to the No Hungry Children program on the right. I did get a $3,400 stimulus check, and my plan is to donate at least $5,000 to $10,000 to charities this year because I think it's the right thing to do. First of all, I don't need the stimulus check, and I'm not taking out a PPP loan, even though it's a forgivable loan, even though the odds of me getting audited are like next to zero because I would take out a small PPP loan. I just don't think it's the right thing to do to take out a PPP loan if I don't actually need it, and I don't. You'll see that here shortly. But I could have easily given them my 2018 tax return and said, my business has been affected. We're struggling to grow here. We need a PPP loan. I could have easily qualified for free money from the government, but I'm not taking it because it's not the ethical thing to do. And for me, I'm a big fan of ethics and what is right. Do I sometimes make mistakes? Yeah. Sure, everybody makes mistakes, and I'll do anything that I can to correct my mistakes and address them. So this year, my net worth, I did not actually buy any properties this year, so my net worth really only went up, not by income, but only by principal pay down, additional tax write-offs. Real estate actually took a hit this year, so I considered that as well. Real estate appreciation was relatively flat that year. So mostly, again, just principal pay down, tax write-offs, and some leftover tax benefits from basically losing money that year helped me increase my net worth. But you can see the net worth didn't move much, 2.3 million to 2.5 million. So, I mean, at that point, it's weird to say, but it's like, multimillionaire. It sounds fancier than it is. Whatever. This is all I feel like I'm doing is doing what I teach my clients to do and the people who trust me in my investing courses to build their wealth. And I'm just a 28-year-old dude, okay? I'm just trying to be transparent. Anyway, this was my most difficult year because I ended up laying off people. Jerome Powell actually pretty much tanked the real estate market in the summer. It ended the year flat, but my stress was like 10x. I thought 2015 was stressful, but coordinating all these renovations with my own employees was actually more stressful than just hiring out other electricians, drywallers, and painters. I never hired a licensed contractor to do all my work. I coordinated everything myself because I was a big fan of saving money. I actually flipped a property for my brother-in-law who made $65,000 in 3 months doing nothing. That was really good for him, so I'm happy for him. But he actually hired my construction company, even though my construction company, didn't ended up breaking even that year with all of our investments and the Sprinter van that we had, the marketing I was doing. We're building an app, it was the Meet and Done app, so that you could buy construction projects from your app, and I had contractors lined up to do work for that, like a tile guy and a drywall guy that would come out if you bought deals through my app, and you'd get discounted volume pricing. I did a lot that year. It was crazy. I mean, talk about stressful. I'm getting stressed just talking about it. But anyway, my brother-in-law, he did a good flip. I did it all for him, but I got him into a short sale. I dealt with code violations with the city, cleaned that all up, renovated it for him. Lauren, my wife, staged it because we had a staging company as well at the time with a storage warehouse where we kept our staging and our employees, and we do meetups and all that. So we had our second boy that year as well. I was doing more YouTube videos this year, 2018, but I wasn't really making any money from YouTube videos, so I'd take a pause here, and that I could show you that my taxable income over the 8 prior years was about $1.5 million, which means my income was somewhere around, what is that? I don't know, like $70,000 a year or something like that. Oh, there, averaging $188,500 a year. And I was able to create a $2.4 million real estate portfolio starting with $9,000 just using basic buy and hold techniques. Yeah, sure, timing helped a bit as well, but even if you took out the appreciation, I would have still had a net worth of over $1 million. And even if I had less income, would have still had over a net worth of $1 million because every single time I bought a property, my net worth went up by about $150,000 because I bought the deals below market value, which means even if the market's flat, my net worth is still going up because I'm buying good deals. Okay, I wrote that net worth went up about $125,000 each. Okay, 125, 150, whatever, averages out. Had I sold these properties, which I'm not a big fan of selling because then you pay taxes and realtor fees, even though I'm a realtor, I know that sounds crazy. I would have netted somewhere around $100,000 each. You know, even if you watered that down to $80,000 or $90,000 or whatever, I don't care. It would have still made a lot of money. And the big thing is it's all on the buy and not overspending on the rentals. Now, somebody, can come in and make a video and suggest, oh, well, I don't believe Kevin's number on this, that, or whatever. It's fine. Like, it's all y'all's right to be critical. I encourage you to be critical, and I encourage you to make up your own mind. I am doing my best to be as transparent as possible about what I believe and how I build my business and how I build my income. And notice that this money came before YouTube income. And so you could see that my net worth here is about $2.5 million before actually starting with YouTube. So now let's get into the YouTube time because things have evolved since the YouTube time. And in all fairness, I just want to, stake the post and say, look, my net worth was I was at least a multimillionaire, at least $2 million. Here we said $2.5 million before YouTube. So let's now look at 2019, being 27 years old. My income for 2019 was about $1 million, and that's a lot. And I've broken down my income before in other videos, but this is because in 2019, I bought 3 very good high profit deals. I stopped having any employees. I actually fired everybody, which sounds terrible. I hate saying the word fire. But in 2018, I closed my construction company. And then I was left with a little bit of help for real estate. But I decided to start helping my clients like I did originally again, myself. So that way when people hired Meet Kevin, they got to meet Kevin and they got help from Kevin. So all of the $300,000 to $400,000 I made in real estate commissions was mine. I also made money in real estate referrals. This year I made approximately $350,000 in real estate profits. That's helping people sell properties. $80,000 in real estate referral fees. And then I made an additional $600,000 approximately in online revenue. And that makes sense. And so that's going to be a combination of YouTube ad revenue, which did I say? I don't know if and I got the 3 wedge deals. I bought 3 properties that year. So it also goes to show you that I'm literally just the extra money that I'm making, even though I'm making more money this year or in 2019, I'm just plowing it right back into real estate because I believe it. And that's how it made me net worth in the past. If it didn't make me net worth in 2011, 12, 13, 14, why would I keep buying properties now? It wouldn't make sense. I would stop buying properties. I would stop renovating them. So what else do we have? So I guess I didn't write it down here, but I would say in 2019, the average YouTube ad revenue was probably somewhere around $30,000 a month, which is really good because that's like $360,000 of that $600,000 in income. And then there's another $240,000 for, like the links down below, right? You getting life insurance, which I only pitch things I believe in. When I pitched the life insurance for ladder, when I pitch that, it's because I use it. And for years, I'm like, I should really have life insurance. I have kids now. What if I go away? And then I don't want to leave Lauren high and dry. Lauren got life insurance. Everybody got life insurance through this. And we love it. It just gave us that peace of mind for, everybody else, not really necessarily ourselves. And then Webull, I use that. I actually love these platforms. And yeah, they pay me when you all sign up. And I obviously appreciate you using my referral link. If you don't want to pat me on the back and use my referral link, you don't have to. You don't have to buy my courses. Some people are like, oh, well, I could just Google that information. There's no way in one place you could just Google. My brain basically over the last 10 years of being experienced in property management and flipping and renovating properties and buying and holding properties. But hey, more power to you. I don't want to twist your arm into it. Like, you have to want this knowledge. And really, it's not that expensive, right? When you look at a real estate investing course and after the coupon, it's like $375 to learn everything I know and to join me in live streams 5 times per week. Like, if that's not valuable enough for you, it's fine. You don't have to join it. But yeah, anyway, that shows you my 2019 income. Yeah, it's higher, but it's a combination of now multiple streams, right? I'm still doing the wedge deals. That helped bump my net worth dramatically. I mean, the fact that I did 3 of those helped me boost my net worth, somewhere around $450,000. The appreciation from all of the prior deals, the principal pay down. Basically, the snowball is just moving faster now because it's growing bigger. Every year I add value to my real estate portfolio, it goes up in value faster. A 1% gain on $2 million of real estate is $20,000. 1% gain on, $5 million of real estate is $50,000 in extra net worth, right? And the long run average appreciation for real estate is somewhere between 3 to 4%. Again, on top of tax benefits on real estate, the depreciation, we talked about the appreciation, getting the wedge deals. I bought 3 of them below market value. And I show those videos on this channel. Yeah, and I don't like flipping because one of the reasons I don't like flipping is some people are like, oh, well, you haven't actually proved a profit unless you sell. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I don't care if you don't want my information. It's fine. Just don't watch the channel then. Like, it doesn't hurt me. I show you that I invest in real estate myself because I believe in it. And if you don't believe me, that's okay. If you half believe me and you're critical and you're like, but what about this? What about this? Join me in my live streams and ask me. Just come ask me. I will gladly help you understand whatever you're confused about. And then let's look at 2020. This is now. It's actually well timed because we are celebrating that we did just cross the $5 million mark, which is really incredible to think about because if I just liquidated everything right now and I took $5 million and I just literally threw $5 million into, which I'm not gonna do because I just like growing and continually working. That's probably a psychological problem. But if I took $5 million and invested it into AT&T stock, I liquidated everything, all my Tesla stocks and everything, I would make $350,000 a year in dividends doing nothing. That's pretty cool. And one of the reasons my net worth went up so much in 2020 so far is my Tesla stock almost quadrupled, $250,000 plus in gains. My other stocks went up, even with the Rona. I bought like crazy in March. That helped my wealth go up. I bought deals in December, January, and February, which closed this year. So again, I put more money into my rental properties. Some of the rental properties I actually ended up leaving vacant purposefully so that I could film my property management course with Lauren in them, which kind of sucks because then we had to rent them out during the Rona, but all of our properties that are rent ready are rented. None of our tenants have left us because of the Rona. So everybody's paying rent, everything's good. I'm not making more YouTube videos because people are not paying me and I'm buried in debt or whatever. That's not true at all. If anything, I am making more videos because, let's just be real. More people are watching YouTube right now. It's more rewarding to make videos right now because views are up. Let me switch to full screen here. There we go. Just look at the view counts. The amount of views my channel has been getting over the past 2 months has been greater than anything I've ever seen in my career before that. And so, of course, I'm going to provide more value and make more videos, especially since I'm locked at home anyway. I can't go out as much anyway because of the lockdown, and California is tighter than everything else. So why not? I guess let me quickly just finish that little chart here. So it finishes off with flat appreciation so far in prior deals in 2020 because the market hasn't gone up. The market went up initially at the beginning of the year, but it's kind of fallen about 7%. So it's given away the gains it's already gotten this year, and it might fall more. My net worth could go back down. But you know what? Even if real estate goes down in value, 20%, 30%, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to sell any of these deals. It doesn't matter. They all cash flow. One of the reasons they cash flow is because I have very little debt. Let me just show you the entire picture here so you could see all of it. Let's go to the very tippy top here. Hold on. Let me just put picture in picture away. And I'll go to the top here, and then I'll share it with you so you can kind of see a total here. Now, okay, yeah, here it is. Oh, I could just show that. Okay, let's make that the big screen here. So let's go to picture-in-picture for me. Okay, there we go. So, that makes it a little hard to see with me. So let me just get rid of me really quickly. Okay, here you go. So all of the real estate I own is 1 to 4 real estate. I own about 8.3, is it? Yeah, $8.3 million worth of real estate. We've got about $1.8 million in stocks right here. Cars, $95,000 in combined value for cars. I mean, you could debate that. Fine, then it'd be under 5. Fine. But I mean, I think that's realistic. The Tesla Model X, the Sienna, and some of the other things. These are the appraised and market values based on refinances, so I'm not trying to like BS bullcrap here. And these are the debts that I have. Some of the properties are paid off. We're getting ready to pay off one other one, so that way we have even more cash flow. And so when you look at that, it looks like a lot of debt, but it's actually not that bad because it's 42% equity. That's really good. And I think that's what a lot of folks, I think a lot of folks can miss out on that, is that, yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of debt, dude. Yeah, but it's 42% equity. The market would have to drop 42%, and I'm still paying off real estate every single month. We've got stocks. I'm going to explain this $340,000 here in debt on the stock side. Cars, I've got a little bit of debt in car stock. So all in all, you could see that the total assets, if you combine the assets, are somewhere around $10 million in assets. I guess I should have written that a little bit more clearly on the spreadsheet. But basically, if you add up 8.3 million plus 1.8 million plus about $100,000 there, that works out to about $10 million of assets, minus about, what do we got here? Well, it's a little bit more than, it's probably like 10.2 million, minus the 5.2 in debt. That leaves you about with the 5 million net. And whatever. The point is, it's obviously gone up since YouTube, but remember, my net worth was about 2.5 before YouTube. So you want to keep that in mind too. Okay, now let me explain the stocks, and I'm gonna share stocks with you here. 1 second. Okay, let's go ahead and plug in my phone and actually show you, can I do it? Oh, you know what, let's just do it on the iPad. Let's get M1 Finance pulled up, and let me show you my stock portfolio here. So, that's not gonna be very convenient. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna have to cut. All right, so in terms of my stocks, it's a little bit all over the place. I've got $304,000 over at Chase, and the next big one is M1 Finance, so I'm gonna show you that. I've got money at Robinhood as well, I can show you that. So here's my, what I call the Meet Kevin Index Fund. I talk about this with my course members all the time. And so this is kind of where you could see a little bit of how some of my money is allocated. And on Friday, there was a little bit of a red day, so that's why it says it's like down 0.03% or whatever. But the value of these stocks has gone up substantially since I bought them, especially since I was buying a lot during the March and April months. For example, if I click on Amazon, you can see my average share price is about 2,100, and now it's at 2,400. Whatever. I don't really care about this. The point is, there's about $1.3 million here. Some of this is debt though, because what I did is I paid off some of my credit lines on my houses. Because remember how I say I use credit lines to help me buy rental real estate? I paid those off because those were charging me somewhere around 5 to 6% in interest. And so I actually borrowed money through M1 Finance, which if you want to do this too, you could use the link down below, and another pat on the back for Kevin here. But anyway, I went to this borrow thing, and look at this. I paid off my credit lines with this money from M1 Finance, and I borrowed $344K. So that's that $344 of debt you saw against stocks. And it's on margin. It's at a 2% rate. And so, yeah, I mean, that's a lot borrowed here, but relative to the portfolio, there's still roughly, $900,000 here, plus the $300,000 in Chase. Heck, you know what? I'll pull up Robinhood really fast. Okay, here's Robinhood. Let's see what Robinhood looks like. Okay, Robinhood says I've got $207,000 that I'm investing at Robinhood, and I'm pretty sure I don't use a lot of margin here. Let me see where it says that. Balance it, I'm pretty sure it's under here. So I reduced my margin a lot. Instant deposit limit, 50K. Margin available, update borrowing limit. See, I can borrow up to $180,000 of margin, but I limit myself because I don't like the way Robinhood does this. Okay, I don't really know any other way to show you how much margin I actually have outstanding here, which is like nothing. I think it's like $1,000, other than just to update my margin available to basically the max amount here. There we go, update borrowing limit. Okay, there we go. See, now it says borrowing power, buying power is 183,000. So you can see I'm not using virtually any margin over here. Margin available, $180,000. So I think I have like $1,000 or $2,000 out on margin at Robinhood. So most of this is additional. And then I have money at Webull and some other miscellaneous retirement accounts and stuff like that. But again, the whole point of this is just to show that, you know, I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. Look, I'm not some dude walking around with a jet who says that he is worth $200 million, but in reality is worth, you know, $10 to $15 million. Or I'm not, you know, some dude that says he has $1 billion in assets, but has a net worth of $40, $50 million. I'm a 28-year-old dude that started with nothing and build my wealth by investing in real estate and helping people invest in real estate as an agent, as a property manager, and now also online. So hopefully that inspires you, because you could do it too. I kind of call it like the accordion. You could do it over time, or if you make more money, you can condense how you make money. But the point is, when you control assets, you build wealth. And it gives you options. Why was I able to buy like crazy in March and April and buy a bunch of stocks? Because I'm able to pick up the phone and go, hey, I'm pulling my money out of my credit lines because I think you guys are gonna freeze them, and I'm gonna buy Tesla for half off. I'm able to do that because I control wealth. And if you want to learn the psychology of controlling wealth and growing your money as well, check out the links down below. You're more than welcome to, but this is everything I got. Okay, I just literally went financially naked with y'all, and it feels weird. And again, you could criticize me, but you know what? Even if you took 50% of the net worth away and said, you know what, 50% is gone, it's still more than I need. Which is weird. And that's why I want to give back to the community. I'm donating more than ever. I'm trying to do as much content as I can to help educate y'all. And, you know, I'm not interested in bagging on people. You know, I did that in the past. And I regret that. I have regrets for sort of poking fun at other people. I'm not doing that anymore. So now my goal is just to help you focus on building wealth. And if you appreciate this transparency, hey, you know what? You could hit subscribe. You could like me. If you'd rather, you know, Google other people's net worths and go, oh, well, this person has more of a net worth than you, so I'm not listening to you. It's fine. It's like, seriously, it's fine. I encourage you to take all of the information in that you can from as many different sources as possible and make up your own mind as to how you want to build wealth. If you like what I teach, then you can join me. It's a bargain for what you get. And I think for 28 years old, I think my methods really helped me out and really helped build wealth substantially and become a multimillionaire by investing in real estate and renovating properties before I ever even had an online presence. So I hope you appreciate this. I know this was a crazy long video, but now you have the truth. Appreciate y'all watching, and until next time.